Welcome everyone to the very first episode in our Let's Play series of Transports. Now, if you haven't had an opportunity, I definitely recommend that you go and take a look at the first look video I did recently on this game. That'll give you a breakdown of a lot of the options within the game, some of the basic workings of the game, and then come back to this video when you're ready to go, because I'm going to be glossing over quite a bit of that as we get this series started. So what we're going to do before we actually get into the game is we're going to customize our game start. We're not going to be using a quick start. We're going to customize it, and we're going to be using a flat world, normal map size. Basically everything default here. Normal, everything, not really anything to change there. We will have no opponents. The AI opponents would show up down here if we choose an opponent and then add them. This is where they would show up. So we're going to have no opponents. And that is because this is a very casual playthrough. I'm not looking for a challenge. I'm looking to have fun. I will not be stressing out over every dollar that we make or lose, every bad decision that I make that ends up losing us money. I'm not going to worry about that stuff. This is a game and a Let's Play series all about having fun. So we're going to build stuff. We're going to try to expand our empire, and we're going to have fun doing it. That's what we're going to be focusing on. And then under start settings, I am going to have no sabotage checked, just simply because even though we don't have any AI opponents right now, that is something that I am not in favor of. I don't care for that aspect of the game. If you do, then that's awesome. I don't have anything against it. But for me personally, I don't like it, so I just try to get in a habit of every time I start a new game, clicking that button. Now, none of the others I'm going to click. I'm going to leave it at 500 grand, which is the default number. And then we're going to be using blue, and I have no victory conditions. We're just going to play until at some point, I'm assuming the game, even if we succeed, the game will at some point just stop on its, I'm sure. All right, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and get the game started. Now that our map is loaded, the first thing I want to do is always to pause the game, just so I can take a look around the map and get an idea of where we want to start, and also to make sure that we've got some decent starting conditions, because if you get a map where nothing is really in a good spot at the very beginning of the game especially, you're going to be in trouble. So it's not always nice to start off in a pretty good location on a decent map. So one of the things I do at the very beginning after pausing the game is click on the show industry, and this will show me the power plants. I want to start with the power plants because I know that there's going to be anywhere from 4 to maybe 6 or 7 on a map this size. And I always want to start there because all the cities need power. And if I can get these cities with power, then that means that all of the nearby industry will also have power, and they're going to need power in order to start producing the goods and services. So starting off with the power plants is a good idea. So I start off, the first one in the list is a coal power plant. We jump to that, and I see it's over here in a nice little area between two sections of water. And then I see, okay, where do I get my coal supply? And I see that it's right over here. Okay, so what that means for us, let's move some things around a little bit. All right, so we've got our source of coal, and then right over here, not too terribly far away, a lot farther away than we would prefer here at the beginning of the game, but not the end of the world either. So let's come back to our industry, and let's say, okay, the oil power plant, where is it? Okay, here it is. And let's see, where is the oil supply for it? Well, it's right here. So now we're in a situation where both the oil and the coal supply are right next to each other. And then there's the oil power plant, and the coal power plant is right here. So very beginning of the game, this is still a little farther than I would prefer, but I think we're okay. Let's go ahead and get started. Remember, everything we do is going to use funds, and the most important detail for me at the beginning of the game is, yes, we have $500,000, but it's all on loan, so it's going to cost us $12,500 per month in interest, and that is a huge number early on in the game. So we're going to have to try to use this as wisely as we can, and hopefully we will be able to get some good mileage out of that beginning money and be able to make headway and not go bankrupt from the very beginning. All right, let's first start off before we even unpause the game. So we're starting January 1, 1950. So that's going to affect the technology that we have access to and when we have access to it. So let's go ahead and see. Oops, not that one. I want the loading station. Now, it's possible that I could get one loading station here, and it looks like it would cover both. Now, that's going to be important because that would save us a little money if we could do that. But in order to do that, I would need to put it right there, and then it would connect with both. Okay, that's good. Now, you can see as we zoom in here where the opening is for this particular one, and we can move it around using these arrows and move that opening around wherever we need it. All right, let's zoom out and make sure we get this where we need it. Right there seems to be a good location. So now we can use one loading station for both of these. And all right, now we need to plan our route over to the two areas. Now, I don't know how much of this money we're going to be, how much of this we're going to be able to do based on the money we have. Let's see. If we come right down through here, and I'm going to try not to turn this any more than I have to because that can slow down our cars. We're probably going to have to come right down through here. In fact, let's go ahead, and already you can see we're pointing in the wrong direction. Let's go ahead and change that. And let's get, that's a good location. That will get us a little bit away from where we need to be, but we're still within that square, so we're fine. Okay, and we're going to actually come out one, and then I'm going to go straight across. This may not be the most, oops, accidentally hit right click. This may not be the absolute most efficient way of doing it, but I want to see if it will get us there, or at least part of the way there. Okay, I like it through here. It gives this city right here a little bit of room to grow. But I think it quickly becomes a bad deal once we get over. Tell you what, let's go to about right here. And then, let's see, actually I went over, yeah, about perfect. So then we'll join up with the existing city. And then what if we go from there? We'll come over to right there. We'll join up with this city's roads. And then we'll, from there, join up right there. And you can see we spent some money just to get this done. We're down to 425.5. But now we have not only connected with a couple of cities, but we have connection with the first of our power plants. Okay, so we're in good shape there. Now we want to get a depot. Now, where do I want to put the depot? Well, I think actually we need to find the opening on this, and we can rotate using the middle mouse button. And let's actually go with, let's see, that is not at all where I wanted that. There we go. How about we put this right here to the side, right in between this open area where we're hopefully going to get out. In fact, what is this? That is oil refinery. Okay, we're going to need to go over there pretty soon as well. All sorts of money-making opportunities nearby. So let's go ahead and purchase some trucks. Okay, the buses would be for the human passengers. We're looking to transport goods. So we're going to buy a truck. And then we're going to, let's see, come back to the depot, highlight the truck, and add a trailer. Now, for our purposes here, let me come back out of that just for a moment. Which one was this? This was the oil. Okay, so that tells us what type of trailer we need. Let's come back into the depot, add a trailer, and we want oil. So let's buy that. Now we have another decision to make. Do we want our trucks traveling this entire route, or do we want to try to cut it in half and have the oil delivered to somewhere in between, and then other trucks pick it up there and take it to the end? We're going to start out with having them travel the entire distance. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. But we may indeed need to cut that in half. Okay, let's go ahead and add a stop. First stop will be here to pick up the oil. Second stop will be here to drop it off, at least for now anyway. Okay, and I already know that I want multiple of these trucks. So let's come back into our depot, and I'm going to hit copy 5 for a total of 5 times. Okay, now we've got 5 trucks because it's going to take at least that. We'll see about the distance, but at least that in order to get this thing going. All right, let's go ahead and start all of those. And we'll get time going, and I'm going to put it on fast forward. Okay, we can see our trucks coming out. Now, it may take a little bit. You can see it just starting to pop in there, the oil from the oil field. So this is going to take a little bit to run through, and now you can see the oil is starting to fill up. Now, the best thing that I could have possibly done would have been to held off on running all 5 of these out, but I wanted to go ahead and get that done because I want to look at something else here in just a moment while this is working its way through. Now, one of the things we need to pay attention to is we've got a limit of 200 here, and that's actually going to be looking at the first 3 letters here. You can see 131, 131. So we're looking at the first 3 letters, so it's not the entire thing. So you have to keep that in mind. So 200 there, or in our cases, if you look at these numbers, 20,000 is how much that we can store, but each one of our trucks can do 2,000. Okay, only 2,000 at a time. And then over here at our plant, 6,671. The good news is, as far as I've been able to tell, even once we fill this bar up, then of course it will fill up the energy bar and start providing energy to all of the industry and all of the cities surrounding it that rely on it for that. But once we go beyond that, it seems that it will continue taking it with no limit. So there's no storage limit that I have been able to find so far. Now, granted, I haven't tried to go way over the limit, but I try to get enough trucks in here that regardless of what happens, now you can see these guys are probably all loaded. Yeah, full 2,000 on all of them. And we can see right now profit is not looking good. Okay, $2,800, that is per month. So on the first of every month, we're going to see that $2,800 subtracted from our profit. Now, here we go. Now we see the green numbers, 9,587 for every delivery. And also, if we look in here, you can see that bar is now full. And we'll see it start to decrease as this oil is burned off to create the energy. The key will be, we want to keep this bar full, and we want to make sure we've got enough trucks to do that. So we'll watch for just a little bit here, and we'll see as this bar starts to come down, if it starts to come down. And that's how we'll judge if we need more trucks. There we go. It's starting to come down. How far are we from trucks headed back this way? You can see we've still got a long time. They're just now starting to get back. So at this point, we're going to need extra trucks. The question is, how many? Now, it would appear as though these trucks are going to get back before it runs completely out. But you can see, as we run out of oil, we run out of energy. What impact does that have on the neighboring cities and industry that relies on it? I'm not sure. That's one of those things. This is an early access game, and we're just getting started, so I'm not sure. But you can see we are almost out as this first truck gets back. So what I'm going to do is come back over. Let's pause the game now that these guys are over here, because I'm going to try to create a second wave of trucks. We've got 5 trucks on this first wave, and we know that by the time they can get over here, drop off, and then get back to pick up more, and then return back once again, we're basically out of oil. So I need to create a situation where that doesn't happen anymore. And we got 245,000 left, so roughly half of what we started with. So I'm going to come in and buy another truck. We're going to add a trailer. We need oil. And you can see there are tons and tons of these available that we're going to get into at some point, hopefully, as time goes on. So we're going to buy that oil tank. Now we've got set up what we need. Let's go ahead and zoom back out a little bit and rotate a little bit so I can try to get everything in one screen that I need. Now, one thing you can do is, if you click on this adjust timetable, it'll take you to a screen that looks just like the schedule. I've gotten used to clicking on the information tab is why I do it this way. All right, so we'll start and then click on our endpoint as well. Okay, that's what we need. And now we'll back our way out. And then we want to, I'm going to copy this, and we're going to have 3 in this fleet of trucks. Okay, and I tell you what, let's go ahead back into the depot and go ahead and hit start all on those, and then we'll get things moving along. Now the other consideration, as we see our 3 trucks coming, is we want to make sure that this oil field can keep up with production. Now, this oil field can make over 22,000 per unit of time. Now I'm not sure, because it takes them a little while to do this, so it looks like we're going to be perfectly fine. You can see we can't even get all of the oil out of here with the trucks that we have by the time it has basically got it full with 20,000 once again. As there it is, it's now full to the max. So there's our 5 trucks, and now we have our 3 trucks that are on their way. And there you go, you can see it's just now starting to come down, and our 3 trucks will fill it back up. There's that wonderful income coming in, and then they'll head back. Now we'll watch for the 5 trucks coming over and see how this works out. I think this is going to be in good shape and be plenty, but again, we'll have to find out as time goes on. Okay, so far so good. And again, I've seen no penalties and no reduction of income from continuing to drop off the oil even after it shows as full, because at this point I've seen no storage limits or anything of that nature. And if I click on right here on the actual loading spot and unloading spot, you can see nothing is in storage here. So it looks like we are in good shape. Once again, it's still full. And now here comes our next group of 3. So for now, I'm going to leave this as is. I am happy with where this is. If it drops off any at all, you can see it's going to be minor, because we have a steady line of trucks coming from all points. This may indeed be overkill, but again, this is how we learn. Maybe we just need to make sure it doesn't completely run out. I don't know. But for now, I kind of like this because it's giving us plenty of income. You can see steadily 9,500 each and every time. And if we click on one of our trucks, go to the information tab, and you can see the profit is in the green quite nicely, and it's just getting started. Now you see the profit going down. Again, that's because at the first of every month, and you can always see the day, month, and year in the top right hand corner of the screen. We're now into July of our first year, which is 1950. And now everything is going along good. So any of these trucks I click on should have a nice profit on them. But I can tell you that trucks are not where the profit is in this game. So far, I have relied heavily on the trucks and also on the water for the boats. And the boats will just crush as far as the amount of money they make and the profit that they open up. All right, so now, before we really worry too much about our profitability, I mentioned that over here we have an oil refinery, and yes, it uses oil. And what does it do with it? Well, it produces fuel, and that fuel can be taken out to cities that are nearby. In fact, let's click on one of those cities. It's got over 1,000 people, definitely not the largest city we're going to come in contact with, but it's about average or a little bit above the middle as far as size. I've seen plenty well up over 2,000, 2,400, and so on. So right now we need to come down to the commodity and what their requirements are. And there you go, fuel. So 9,414. The number itself really doesn't mean that much to us right now. But the main thing is they do require fuel. Not necessarily all of the cities that I've seen do. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Also, if we look in the bottom right-hand corner, you can tell they have full power. So that means that their power is being supplied by this particular oil power plant nearby. So that is perfect for us. So what we're going to need if we're going to supply fuel from this refinery to this particular city, is we're going to need some more road network. Okay, not necessarily over here by the city, because we're doing pretty good there. We're going to need one more loading zone, but other than that, we're in pretty good shape. Now, I need to get this road over to here, and I don't really want to build a bridge to save money. So let's see how we can best do that. I am inclined to keep this pretty simple. And I'm just going to try to go around this as best I can. Let's see. But at the same time, all right, I'm going to try to go around these hilly areas as best I can. There we go. Then I'm going to cut right by. Okay, let's set up our loading station. And let's go ahead and move that around to this direction. And let's put it right here. That ought to be perfect. Okay, yeah, and then we can branch off and go in different ways from there. That should be pretty good. All right, so now we're going to turn here and connect that roadway. So now we've got our loading station, or what are they calling these? Yeah, loading stations. Located there. Okay, now we need another loading station for the city, but let's hold off on that. And the reason I say that is let's make sure that we've got everything we need. We've got power, we just need to supply the oil. And the way we can do that is, let's go ahead and pause the game for just a moment. And let's look in here, and you can see there is plenty of oil here. I think we're going to be fine to do that. Let's go ahead and click on our depot, and let's buy a truck. Click on it to highlight it and add a trailer. And once again, we've got oil tank. Let's buy that. And then open up the information tab for our truck. Okay, now I want to zoom out some so I can see where we're going to and from. So we're going to add a stop. First stop is going to be here next to the oil field, and then our other stop is going to be next to the refinery. Okay, right click to close out that window, and then we are going to copy this, and we're going to have a total of 3 trucks for now. And again, we'll see how many we need as time goes on, but for now, let's go ahead and hit start all. So we'll have a nice little convoy of trucks that are going to be coming out. There they come. So they'll come in and grab the oil that is available. And I'm also going to keep this screen up just to make sure that it doesn't drop down to 0 and we still have trucks trying to get more. I think we'll be okay, but just something we'll have to keep an eye on. Okay, let's see how much money we get as we drop off, as we've got a full load, I believe. Yeah, it's $2,000. $5,600. Okay, so not quite as much as we got for the power plant, but we will take it. If we're making money, we're making money. Okay, now they'll head back, and you can see here we're dropping down. We'll drop down a little bit more. Okay, more was added. So we're at 7,500, and we got 3 trucks coming in. Let's see when the others are coming in. There they come. So we're looking pretty good right now, I would have to say. Again, our profitability is going to vary as long as we're sticking just to the trucks, which we are right now basically out of necessity. But as long as we're sticking to the trucks, we're going to have a much lower profitability. All right, so we're getting pretty low with our group of 5 coming back. Yeah, we're getting pretty low, but I think we're going to end up being okay. I think. We're cutting it pretty close. All right, so we're at 1,600. Now we're over 2,000. Remember, each one of these trucks can hold 2,000. That's the main thing to keep in mind. And if we find out that we are overusing this particular oil, oh, there we go. So we're not going to quite get a full load, and now we got more trucks coming back. Okay, for now, I think we're okay. Let's come over and let's look here and see that, wow, we are not providing very much at all percentage-wise. Let's keep an eye on how that changes. Okay, we saw the locomotive pop up there. There's the screen. So we do have a locomotive available. But again, I'm holding off on those till a little bit later. But here you can see we actually need some more oil. We're not reaching our full capacity, which means we're not reaching full production of the fuel. Okay, and right now no fuel is going in. That might change, but I don't believe it changes until we actually start to set up a schedule that will deliver it over here to the city. Okay, now that we're coming to the end of our first episode, I've had a blast with this. There's a lot going on in it, a lot that I don't even know about at this particular point, a lot that has and has not been added to the game. So there's no shortage of content at this point for the game, but I've been keeping an eye on our money situation. And you notice that we are fluctuating around $200,000 to $250,000. Of course, it went down because we got to the first of the month. And now it will start to go back up. So we are doing good. We've spent quite a bit of money. And so far, so good. Our money seems to be stabilizing. Of course, we'll keep a close watch on that in the future. And one of my goals to do here in the early game is, of course, I want to also start to use this coal and move over to, let's see, where is it? Let's spin this back around. Where is our coal plant? So it should be right over here somewhere. Well, I've lost it, so we'll have to find it next time. One of the things I really hope that they're able to do with the game here fairly soon is I'm hoping that they're able to provide a way for us to quickly find our way around the map. I mean, none of this is marked, so it makes it kind of difficult to figure out what things are. You sort of have to remember where everything is on the map, and I'm just not very good with that at this particular point in time. So we're going to leave it here for now. Thank you very much for joining me in our first episode of our Let's Play series of Transports.